22 years old boy, living alone Friday night. Most people my age would be out with friends, at a bar, maybe on a date. But me, I was perfectly content sitting on my couch, watching a horror movie with a cup of hot coffee in my hand. The apartment was quiet, just me and the flickering light from the TV screen. I liked it that way. No roommates, no distractions, just peace. Little did I know that peace was about to shatter in the most terrifying way possible. The call. I was about halfway through the movie when my phone rang. The sudden sound made me jump. I laughed at myself for being so on edge from the movie. I picked up my phone and looked at the screen. Unknown number, no caller ID. No name, just those two words staring back at me. I hesitated. Who calls from an unknown number at 11:30 at night? Scammers, telemarketers, wrong numbers. But something made me answer it anyway. Curiosity, I guess. I swiped to accept the call and brought the phone to my ear. Hello? Silence, not even breathing. Just dead air. Hello? Who is this? Still nothing. I pulled the phone away from my ear and looked at the screen. The call was still connected. The timer was running. But whoever was on the other end wasn't saying a word. I hung up. Weird, but not that unusual. Probably just a robocall that didn't connect properly. I set my phone down and tried to focus back on the movie, but I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling crawling up my spine. 2 minutes later, my phone buzzed. A text message from the same unknown number. I picked it up and read the message. 3 simple words that made my blood run cold. I see you. My heart started pounding. I looked around the living room. The curtains were drawn. The door was locked. I was alone. I typed back quickly. Who is this? The 3 dots appeared immediately. They were typing. Look outside. My hands were shaking now. This had to be a prank. Someone messing with me, but I couldn't ignore it. I stood up slowly and walked toward the window. My legs felt heavy. My breathing was shallow. I reached for the curtain and hesitated. What if someone really was out there? What if they were watching me right now? I took a deep breath and pulled the curtain back. The street was empty. No cars. No people. Just the dim glow of streetlights and shadows. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Nothing. There was nothing out there. I let the curtain fall back and turned around. That's when my phone rang again. Same unknown number. I answered it immediately this time. Who the hell is this? Silence again. But this time, I heard something in the background. Faint, almost like breathing. Not normal breathing. Heavy breathing. Like someone was standing right next to the phone. Answer me, I shouted. Click, they hung up. I stood there in the middle of my living room, my phone still in my hand, my heart racing. This wasn't funny anymore. This was crossing a line. I was about to call the police when I heard it. Knock, knock. Knock, 3 slow, deliberate knocks on my front door. I froze. Who knocks on someone's door at almost midnight? Knock, knock, knock. Louder this time, more forceful. I walked slowly toward the door, my entire body tense. Who's there? I called out. No answer. Knock, knock. Knock. I looked through the peephole. There was someone standing there. Wearing a black hoodie, hood pulled up, face covered by a mask. They were just standing there, completely still, facing the door. Facing me. What do you want? I yelled through the door. They didn't move, didn't respond. Then slowly they raised their hand and knocked again. Knock, knock, knock. Something inside me snapped. Fear turned to anger. I unlocked the door and yanked it open. What the hell do you want? The person in the hoodie stood there silent and still. Before I could say anything else, they lunged forward and shoved me hard. I stumbled backward into my apartment, nearly falling. They stepped inside and slammed the door behind them. Who are you? Get out! I screamed. They didn't say a word. They just stood there staring at me through that mask. Then slowly they reached up and grabbed the edge of the mask. My entire body went cold. They pulled the mask off, and I felt my mind break. It was me. Not someone who looked like me. Not a twin I never knew about. It was me, my exact face. My exact features, my exact everything. Down to the scar on my left eyebrow from when I was 10. Down to the small mole on my neck. Down to the way my hair fell across my forehead. I was staring at myself. My doppelganger smiled. Not a friendly smile. A cold, knowing smile. No, I whispered. This isn't real. This isn't real. He took a step toward me. I screamed. My eyes shot open. I was gasping for air, drenched in sweat. I looked around frantically. I was on my couch. The TV was still on. My coffee cup was still on the table, half full and cold. It was a dream, just a dream. I let out a shaky laugh and ran my hands through my hair. Jesus Christ, I muttered to myself. That was intense. I leaned forward and grabbed my coffee cup. taking a sip, even though it was cold. My heart was still racing, but I was starting to calm down. It was just a nightmare, nothing more. I glanced at my phone on the table. No missed calls, no messages. See? Just a dream. I stood up and stretched, deciding I'd had enough horror movies for one night. I walked toward the bathroom to splash some water on my face. I needed to shake this off and get some real sleep. I flipped on the bathroom light and walked to the sink. I turned on the faucet and cupped my hands under the cold water, splashing it on my face. The cold shock felt good, grounding, real. I looked up at the mirror and froze. There, in the reflection behind me, standing in the doorway of the bathroom, was him. Me, the other me. Same black hoodie, same cold smile. I spun around, my heart exploding in my chest. No one was there. I looked back at the mirror. He was still there, in the reflection, standing right behind where I should be. But when I looked behind me with my own eyes, there was nothing. He raised his hand in the mirror and waved at me. Slowly, deliberately. Then he mouthed 3 words, "I see you." I opened my mouth to scream, but no sound came out, because I realized something even more terrifying. I couldn't feel my body anymore. I looked down at my hands. They were fading, becoming transparent. Like I was the reflection, and he was the real one. The bathroom light flickered, and when it came back on, I was gone. The mirror showed an empty bathroom, and somewhere in another version of this moment, he was standing at the sink, splashing water on his face, believing he had just woken up from a nightmare. Never knowing that I was trapped here, in the glass, watching, waiting for my turn to escape. Sometimes the person staring back at you in the mirror isn't a reflection at all. Sometimes it's the real you, trying to warn you that you've already been replaced.